So one of the key focuses of our ministry is to care for our congregation. And this manifests itself in many different ways. Your board and the minister and staff have been looking at important way that we need to care about our congregation in a what-if kind of scenario. So last spring on a Tuesday afternoon, the board was gathering for a work session, and I remember coming into the meetings commenting about how ominous the clouds looked. And within about a minute, the siren on campus went off, and the PA system came on, and we were told to make our way to the storm shelter. About less than 10 minutes later, a tornado touched down about a mile southeast of us. That funnel cloud was visible just to our northwest. You could actually see it. And if you drew a line from where that was seen and where it actually set down, it took us right over this part of the campus. So that is important to understand and recognize that could happen. If a tornado is 6 miles away and the storm cloud is traveling 30 miles an hour, it takes about 12 minutes to get here. And if it's 4 miles away, it takes about 8 minutes. So if that were to happen, we don't have time to have a workshop about it. You know what I'm saying? We gotta know what we're gonna do. So that's the what if. So what if that were to happen on a Sunday morning at about, say, 10:45, or about right now, or 11 o'clock? And trust me, this building is not where you would want to ride out a tornado. These high ceiling, this vast span of a ceiling, and this glass, this is not where you would want to be. There's probably 2 rooms that people could go to in this building that would be reasonably safe, maybe, and they're the restrooms. So you could probably pack 30 or 40 people in those if you really had to. But what about the rest of us? So there'd be 100 or 120 people out here with a couple of problems. One, we would need a shelter, and the second is that many of us simultaneous would need to go to the restroom. So, and what would it be like in there anyway? Think about that. There's all of this angst and concern and heavy breathing and sobbing and murmured prayer and soothing words, and then someone will flush one of the stools. So who needs that, right? So we have a better plan than that. So the plan is to vacate this building. And so the plan consists of 2 components. One is how do we know, and the other is what do we do? So how do we know? Security will be tuned in, and they would be of assistance, but we also will be tuned in ourselves. We have an all-weather radio station in the live streaming booth, and that would be monitored. And that information comes to us just as quickly as any police department or fire department would get that information. So if a tornado warning were to happen and it would involve Unity Village, we would know right away, and then we would make sure you know right away. So there would be an announcement that we're going to be vacating the building. So then what do we do? So there are 4 exit points. There's the 2 doors that most of you come through on the sides of the building, and then there are these 2 exit doors on either side of the stage. So common sense would tell you which ones you would use. If you're in the balcony or towards the back of the room, you would use these 2 doors that you usually enter the building from. And if you're towards the front of the building, you would use these exit points on either side of the stage. And so if you're on this side of the building, and I know that this may be confusing to some of you, and some of you have been here for years, this makes complete sense. How many of you would know right now how to get to the storm shelter area if you had to? So there's quite a few hands up. So, and then the ushers and the service assistants and the board and others would be in position to help people know where to go. So if you exit on this side of the building, you would make your way towards the fountains, and you'll turn right into the Unity indoor on the side there that is going to be open, and then you would make a quick left down that corridor, and you'd be in the storm shelter. And if you're exiting on this side of the building, back here, you'd go through the bookstore and straight back to the security area, and then you'd turn right, and then you'd be in the storm shelter area. And if you're exiting on this side of the stage, you would make your way through the congregation, the community center, where we gather after the service, and down to security and into the storm shelter. So it's really not that complicated, and there'll be plenty of people, I'm sure, that would help you find your way. So what about the children in our youth and family ministry? They also have a weather alert radio. They would be monitoring it, and they have a plan, and they know how to execute it. They're actually in a closer position and a better position to get to the storm shelter area than we are. They would actually probably be there before we would be. So 3 requests: take your time, but hurry. So that's what my favorite nun of all time would say between classes. Take your time, but hurry. In other words, don't be late for class, but don't run. So assist anyone who needs help. So you just be aware that if someone has trouble moving, is confused, be of assistance. And then go to the shelter. Don't go out and try to create a video so you can post it on Facebook. Or don't go to your car. So in conclusion, do we expect this kind of weather event to happen? It's not probable. In all honesty, it's really not that probable. So we don't need to be paranoid, but we do need to be prepared. Just notice when there's a disaster somewhere that you could look at it and you could say, the likelihood of that happening in that time and that place to those people was not real probable. And then they just acknowledge that it happened. And then people wonder if there was a plan, or did they know what to do? So that's why we're actually doing this. So caring for the congregation is important, and it's everyone's accountability. And it comes naturally because we love and appreciate each other. And I know that if we ever had to take this action, that you'd all do the right thing. So God bless you, and God bless Unity Village Chapel. Thank you.